When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Hi, I'm John Manos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Friday morning. Today we're talking about health care. It's Obamacare and Covered California. Are you still having problems getting on? Are you still having problems calling Covered California? Or do you have health care coverage at this time? We have an expert in the house on this day, 436 MeTV option 11. Do turn down the sound. We're back with our program in a moment. Before we get into the healthcare issue here, a couple of things to talk about. Of course, this weekend, the AFC NFC Championship games. And of course, you got Tom Brady against who? Peyton Manning. Oh, another big rivalry coming up in the AFC title game. Can't wait for that one. As you think about the 49ers game, going up there and playing in that noise dome, think about this. Russell Wilson, the quarterback for Seattle, has not had a good game in probably, 8 or 9 weeks. He's playing average football. Yes, good defense. Yes, loud stadium. But the 49ers are on a roll, and they have better wide receivers, so we'll see what happens up there. And talking about the water rates going up, haven't talked about that in a while. Water rates are going up. We may not have water to talk about this coming summer if the drought doesn't end. So something to think about there. And, just thought about that the other day and thought I'd mention that as we close out the week here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Now to the healthcare issue, and Covered California and even the national website is still having some major problems even after all this time. Yes, hundreds of thousands have signed up, but it's taken a long time, long wait times. Let's go to the videotape to Covered California, show you exactly what I'm talking about. There are some long, enormous wait times on that website, Covered California. The Ventura County Star reports that some people are being put on hold for more than an hour and a half with significant problems in getting consumers connected to a live person. And some are even getting cut off. They're being disconnected. Last week, the Covered California Exchange received about 75,000 calls, and that jammed up the phone lines because there are only 1,288 phone lines to be had. Covered California claims they will add more staffing and more phone lines. Insurers like Blue Cross, Blue Shield of California have also been flooded with calls. Blue Shield up to 57,000 calls a day. It's a madhouse, no doubt. So far, nearly 500,000 people in California have signed up for health coverage through Covered California, and overall that accounts for about 22% of the total national figure as to how many people have enrolled. 61% chose the silver plan, 23% chose the bronze. However, here's the key. Only about 25% of enrollees are under the age of 35. That could present a problem down the road. Live in our studio right now to talk about all this is our guy, our health expert, Vic Gunderson from the Dermanuel Insurance Group here in the city of Fresno. He's been here before. He's talked about the problems. He's brought a manual that seems like it has 10,000 pages. Not really, but it's a big, fat manual that he has to read through, written by an attorney. We'll show you what that's all about. Your call is important. If you don't have health insurance, call in, ask your question, 436 MeTV option 11, or even if you have health insurance and you have major questions and you can't get through to the Covered California line because you can't get through to a live person, call in and talk to Vic, 436 MeTV option 11. Turn down the sound. We're back with our program in a moment.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator. The first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
I got to tell you something. I'm looking at this manual here that's sitting in front of me, and it almost looks like the education code. Have you seen those education code manuals? They stack up about this high, or maybe even higher, maybe 4 to 5 feet high. But this is just one of many manuals. Vic Gunderson is here, our healthcare expert. How are you, Vic?
I'm fine,
so here's
thank
the
you.
manual, the blue manual right here. How many pages are you looking at?
Well, not counting the actual sample copies of documents, you're dealing with about 1,300 pages. There's
and
actually
what is this manual for?
Well, this is for employers,
okay,
and for their advisors. So this was
rules
also
and regulations.
Yes, under just for healthcare reform. This doesn't count ERISA. This doesn't count COBRA. And it doesn't count HIPAA, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Each of those three also have a binder that's actually thicker than this one. And so these are the rules that employers have to run with and the group health plans have to run with.
And so this is like one of how many manuals?
Well, I've got 5 manuals. This is one of them, but this is the most important one right now in regards to healthcare reform. This is the one we have to run with. We are still waiting, which we expect any day, the transition rules for the employer mandate. As you recall, the penalty was postponed till 2015. We're now waiting for those transition rules, and once those are issued, then we will have to
so it's going
notify
to
our clients.
change for employers and how they deal with health care with their employees?
Yes, in regard
under the current law with Obamacare?
Yeah, well, what it was already, what they did is they had the employer mandate for groups of 50 or more, counting your part-time people, which if employer didn't offer coverage, they would be subject to penalties per employee above 30, and then they postponed that because of the new required rules coming out on their filing. They're going to have to start filing in 2016 for 2015 a 6055 form, which will carry the same weight as W-2s on the types of coverages they're providing their employees.
To adhere to the new health care laws, will it cost employers and also the people that are insured more out of their pockets?
Well, it depends on the plan designs. They're on small group. For
a small business, you mean?
For a small business, it could more than likely do that because a lot of small businesses have higher deductibles. Now under healthcare reform, starting this year, the maximum deductible you can have is $2,000. And so we're seeing upwards to 30 to 40% rate increases just because of those changes. That's why we're already
so
seeing
employers beware, huh?
Yeah, they haven't seen anything yet.
The deadline is when, 2015?
Well, no, here's the deal with small group. Small group, the carriers last year allowed us to change the renewal dates so we could do an early renewal for 12/1 of 2013.
Okay.
Which we have about 350 clients in the small group. That's under 50. So we kicked the can down the road for another year. They could keep their same policies. Now in 2014, when they renew, they're going to have to renew under what Obamacare or under healthcare reform and their required types of contracts and the way they're going to rate them. Plus, they'll have smaller networks.
Well, what's changed in the law? Can you tell us, or are there too many things to mention?
It gets down to the minimum essentials, and for small employers, the maximum deductible plans that you can have. A lot of employers now have higher deductibles, and then they use what we call a kind of a wraparound or HRAs where they reimburse for the deductible difference. And so you might have a $5,000 deductible, but the employer is helping out for the first $5,000. And now they're going to have to go to a $2,000 deductible.
Max.
That's the max. And so what's going to happen is their fixed costs are going to jump dramatically. That's why we've already had 3 clients say, hey, we're not going to offer benefits anymore. Employees can just go to the exchange and fight that. We're not going to deal with it. It's costing us too much
so
money.
Are they reducing their hours?
Pardon? No, they're just dropping the coverage. If you're under 50, there's no penalty.
Oh, there's no penalty. Okay,
Yeah,
so they're
50
just
or
dropping
more.
the coverage. Just go to Covered California,
Yeah.
get your own.
Go get your own. We're not going to deal with all this regulation.
Is it possible for, or illegal, I should say, for an employer to say have more than 50 employees, but reduce their full-time status to part-time and get away from going through this?
They could, but they got to be very, very careful under 510 of ERISA rules. If an employer changes hours to avoid benefits, it breaks ERISA rules, and there's a heavy, stiff penalty if you're caught doing that. So
Okay.
if you're going to reduce hours, it has to be not for benefit purposes.
Now, how do you prove it?
Well, you better work with your attorney and get in legal counsel to make sure it's done.
I
in a
can
proper way.
guarantee you there'll be some employers that'll try to do that.
Oh, they'll do it. They're doing it.
They'll
but
do it.
It can't be for benefit purposes. That was put on the books for retirement plans, and it also covers the group health plans.
Right. Talking to Vic Gunderson here from the Dermanuel Insurance Group about the new health care laws under Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, Covered California, 436-MeTV, option 11. Call in, ask a question if you have one. And let me ask you something about the employer plans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you focus on the most. So what is the biggest change that you've seen and biggest problems that employers are facing right now? What's the biggest challenge? Because you have seminars on all this.
Yes.
What's the biggest challenge for an employer?
Well, the number one is they've moved full-time employment to 30 hours. So if you're working 30 hours or more,
You're considered a full-time?
full-time for benefit purposes,
Oh.
for health plan purposes.
Okay. That's in the new law.
That's in the new law. That
Okay.
starts this year.
Okay.
The other issue is seasonal. As you know, we have a lot of seasonal employers here.
Okay.
Seasonal under the law is actually 120 days or less, period. So if your employees work more than 120 days, then and they're variable hours, because during the season you might work 50 hours and then it'll drop you to 30 and then back up to 40. So now we're trying to get all of our employer groups that have these quote unquote seasonals that work more than 120 is to now do what we call variable houred under the rules. And under variable houred, there is a safe harbor where you can watch them over a 12-month period.
Right.
But then you have to get them on within. If they hit 1,560 hours or more during that 12-month period, the following year, no matter where their hours go, you have to offer them a plan. If they go on it, no matter where their hours go, they're covered for a
So
year.
if they've got 30 hours, what?
Average.
Or
130 hours a month.
Okay.
It still comes out to 1,560 a year. You've got to provide them.
Right. So if it's 30 hours a week, you're full-time, they have to put you on a plan.
They have to
That's what
offer it to you.
They have to offer it to you, but by when? By what's the date?
Well, it's going to be whatever your renewal date is this year.
Okay, so
Now-
there is no set date by
No.
by
Right.
federal law.
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So-
there is a set date. It's January 1st, and or your renewal of this year. So if
So
you
if
have
it
a
comes-
plan
if your
year
renewal
6/1,
comes-
if you renew June 1st, then this goes into effect June 1st
I
of this
see.
year. Is
I
that-
see.
is
So,
that-
yeah, okay,
Okay.
I get it. All right.
Okay.
Vic Gunderson is here. He is from the Dermanuel Insurance Group here in the city of Fresno. He's a healthcare expert fighting all this madness, and through the paperwork, it's amazing. What a maze. 436-MeTV, option 11. Beware, Obamacare is in full swing right now. We're back with our show in a moment.
Remember me?
After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels,
Ain't it the truth?
his name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Nothing slows him down.
I want to see this one firsthand.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
What are we waiting for?
Back here, 436-MeTV, option 11. Do turn down the sound if you call in. Remember that as well. Today we're talking about Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and whether or not you have health coverage. Covered California, of course. A lot of people have signed up. I do have a graphic I want to put up on the screen through Covered California, and it talks about how many people have actually enrolled. About, these are figures from yesterday, or actually the first of the month. 498,794 have enrolled statewide through Covered California. 61% chose that silver plan, which is the upper grade plan. 23% chose the step below, the bronze. 52% now, keep in mind, of the enrollees between the ages of 45 and 64 are now enrolled. 25%, that's a very low figure, of enrollees are between the ages of 18 and 34. So that means 25% are below the age of 35. Vic, is that a problem?
It can be. Everything we've been reading and what was released originally, even under healthcare, not healthcare reform, but under the federal statements, is that we needed, the current rates were based upon the assumption that 40% or close to 40% of enrollees would be under that age, 35. And so if we don't hit that, probably by May or June, we'll have a good indication of what the new rates will be next year, because we need the younger, healthier ones to offset. We know the older ones are going to have more.
The program financially healthy is what you're saying.
Well, the premium's healthy.
Yeah, okay.
Without drastic rate increases.
Call coming in. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question.
Morning, John. This question is for Victor. My name is Larry. I'm on Social Security, and I have Medicare and Medi-Cal, so am I covered under Obamacare?
No, you're not covered under them. You're covered under Medicare, and Medicare is not changed. You just stay with Medicare, and Medicaid has not changed. The only thing with Medicaid that's changed is that the poverty rate now has gone up to 138% of the federal poverty rate. So it's going to bring upward. It could bring upwards to about 1 million more people into the system here in California.
Okay, I don't have to get no other insurance.
No.
Policy then,
No.
right?
No, you do not.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, John.
Thank you
for
the call. I appreciate it. So if you have Medicare,
yes,
that's your primary insurance. But if you wanted to get to offset Medicare, you can't, because Medicare doesn't cover everything, right?
Well, Medicare does, except you've got deductibles and co-payments. What you can buy is you can either get a Medicare Advantage plan, which is similar to an HMO, or you can get a Medicare supplement, which picks up what Medicare doesn't and allows doctors to balance bill, because Medicare doesn't pay the doctors enough. So they balance bill the supplement. And
they have a Medicare supplement plan?
Yeah, it's a supplement plan. All the carriers sell them. There's no networks. You go to any doctor that accepts it.
I've seen some of the ads through
Medicare. Yeah, AARP has United Healthcare. They have a very fine plan. A popular one in our area because of the pricing model. I mean, if you take Plan F as an example, Plan F on all carriers are the same. It makes no difference. Plan F's Plan F. What you're buying is a supplement. You really get down to pricing.
Yeah.
And so the supplement picks up what Medicare.
And we're all going to get there. I mean, eventually, everybody's going to go on Medicare, and then it's going to be a supplement.
I opted off our plan and went on it this year. So
yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah,
really?
I'm on
it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking.
I am old. I am on an entitlement.
You're as young.
I'm one of those entitlements, you know.
You are as young as you feel. You've got some changes to talk about in the individual plan, right?
Well, and what happened was as you know, we just got notice day before yesterday that the payment for the first month of January now for the individual plans has now been extended through the end of the month. So everybody, they can pay 30 days after the fact. Because of the foul-ups that have been going on with the system, so the carriers are running on the hope that you do pay it. In the meantime, they're covering you. For
hoping they pay at the you pay at the end of the month.
January.
Oh, good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question.
Good morning, John. I want to say your programs are excellent.
Thank you.
I think you're doing a wonderful job. I have a question for Mr. Gunderson. I am covered with the best Blue Cross Blue Shield plan there is, plus Medicare A and B. I recently went to emergency service for kidney stones in Washington, and I received a bill for $80 for 2 medications I took there in the emergency room. And they said Medicare would not cover it because it was a PO, which means by mouth wouldn't cover it. Have you ever heard of anything so terrible as this?
Yeah, there are under Medicare there are certain drugs or certain ways that won't be covered. Not everything is going to be covered under prescriptions. Also, for higher income individuals now, they actually surcharge you extra monies. As an example, if you buy the prescription plan, and it's $70 a month, and based on your income, if you're making over as a couple, if you're making over $180,000 a year, which is basically husband and wife making $80,000 each or $90,000 each or whatever, they surcharge you an extra $50 a month. Also, on the Part B, which is normally $90, they'll surcharge you up to an extra $200 a month just because of your income. So there are penalties for making if you continue working when you go on Medicare and making that. But again, getting back on your question, yeah, there are certain prescriptions that will be outside of their coverage for those prescriptions.
Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, just quickly before we go to break, are you under a Medicare supplement plan?
I'm on retirement from the state of Massachusetts, and I'm certainly not rich, and my husband is deceased, so I am alone.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
on welfare, that would have been covered.
Yeah, it's probably if you're retired from them, if they have a supplement that goes along with the Medicare, their supplement may not be picking up. They can custom design those types of supplements if you're on certain retirement plans. If you buy a different prescription, like from a carrier here in California, you can ask them in advance. Those types of prescriptions could be covered under their plans. Each carrier is a little different in what they cover.
Yeah. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. I hope we answered all your questions. Appreciate it very much. We're running out of time here quickly. It goes by fast. 436 MeTV. Vic Gunderson is here. Healthcare coverage is the issue. Back in a moment.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right. From the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
All right, this has nothing to do with coverage, but it has to do with getting through, Vic, to covered California. Still, and I mentioned in the monologue, long wait times on the phone. You get disconnected. We do have a phone call. I don't want to disconnect this call here. We'll touch on that after the call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me, or you were. Okay, so let's get back to the question now. Long wait times, can't get through. You get disconnected. You're frustrated. You can't talk to a live person. What do you do?
Personally, I would. You can go on wherever you're living, and put in your zip code, and ask for, and they'll give you a local agent. I would work with a local licensed agent, and
you'd rather do that.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and let them work the system for you.
Yeah,
that's what they're going to get paid for, and it doesn't cost you any extra.
Okay, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm coming in maybe on the show late. I'm caught in the middle. I'm a single male, no dependents. I make a good income, but my ex and Y don't actually balance out. So even if I was to get this insurance, I mean, I can't afford it. And should I just find something, or are they going to just take it out of my taxes? Because I'm getting killed by both sides.
Did you did you have insurance and it was canceled at last year?
Yeah, when I was working at the time.
Okay.
But it went, like I said,
okay.
I went to it.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you
it
don't,
sounds like it sounds like you make too much money to qualify for covered California under the exchange.
Well, he still has to go through the exchange. He's just not going to get a subsidy.
You're not going to get a subsidy, but he's going to pay more in a premium.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, but,
okay.
Yeah, and if you don't the way the rules currently read, when you file your taxes in 2015 for 2014, they could penalize you in minimum $95 up to 1% of your income if you're single.
I haven't gone to the doctor in years. I don't know.
Pardon?
I mean, I haven't gone to the doctor in years. I mean, it's been like 10 years since the last time I talked to me. I'm
Well,
very healthy.
Here's the deal. If you end up in the hospital without coverage, the hospital still has to see you. Now, they may work. And they still have to see you for emergency purposes. However, then you have to deal with the hospital on how you're going to pay them back or pay them off. So,
and that bill isn't going to be cheap.
Now, if you've got any assets, they can come after your assets. So you really should have some protection. And getting a bronze plan, I don't know what your pricing model might be, but at least you can see the doctor. And worst case scenario, even with a bronze plan, you'd be out of pocket $6,000. A hospital can run you $100,000 if you're in a traffic accident and you've got to stay in there any time.
Yeah, or more.
But sooner or later, there will be something in your tax.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't avoid that.
Yeah.
There's no way to avoid it.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. I imagine a lot of people are in the same boat. We got like 3 minutes left. What do you want to add to this conversation?
Just so you know that, again, for individuals, they need to be have signed up by the end of, even though it's not effective, but at least signed up in the system by the end of March to avoid any potential penalties. Open enrollment, I think this is for politics, was delayed for 2015. So instead of October 15th, open enrollment again, it's now been delayed till November 15th for after the election. So I guess they don't want people to see what their new rates will be.
Caller, this has got to be so quick. We've got like a minute and a half left. What's your question? Quickly.
Okay, I'm a veteran and I'm on their medical program, and I was wanting to know if there was any other supplement that I need to get besides their coverage.
No, if you're on their full medical plan, you're fully covered by them. Yeah. No. You do not need anything else as long as you're under their full medical plan.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Right. Okay, thank you for the call. I appreciate it very much. So you have, what's the March 31st deadline? Explain that.
That's for enrolling in individuals to avoid penalties. You've got to be into their system at least by March 31st.
Right.
Even though it may not be effective until May 1st, you've got to be in there and ready to go.
When all this shakes out, from what you've seen so far, when the dust settles in like a year or two, are we going to recognize health care as we knew it before? Or is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? What's your prediction on this? You've been in this industry for a long time.
Unfortunately, the policies, the way they're designed and what they're required to have, the lower income people is going to be better for. Those that are achievers are going to pay a lot more, and they're not going to have their doctors that they've had before because they're a lot smaller networks. It's in the costs.
What about the middle class?
The middle class are going to get squeezed because the middle class, if you're making more than $36,000 a year, you're not going to get subsidized.
Yeah, and your monthly premium is going to be about what, $400 or $500 a month?
Could be, depending on what plan you have and where you're living, because they got 19 regions now.
Yeah, and if you have a family of 3 or 4, that could run you a couple of $1,000s a year. That's like a house payment.
Yeah.
So
it's a complete redo of what we've been used to, completely redone.
Yeah. Vic, we're out of time. Sadly, I wish we had a couple of hours here to talk about that. I'm sure we'd get thousands of calls in that time. But
appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank
Vic,
you.
come back again.
We will.
All right. Vic Gunderson from the Dermanuel Insurance Company talking about the Affordable Care Act. That's going to do it for us. We're back with another edition of Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno on Monday. Go 49ers. See you on Monday.
Yes.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.